Welcome back to the 2014 Summer Promotion Tournament. Let's get right back into the action with Game 2 between LMQ and XDG Gaming. Now, LMQ is a team of strong players, but Vasilii's aggressive playstyle and ability to take control of his lane have earned him the spotlight. And that's, of course, and his sweet dance moves.
I would describe Vasilii as an aggressive player.
When he's on point, he's scary.
因为他现在所在的位置是 ADC 吧 ，ADC 是这个游戏中后期就是很能 carry 的一环，然后在前期的发育也是非常重要。所以说，我们在这个位置上，如果能够打得好的话，是在中后期能够决定胜负的一个最重要的一个点。
我觉得他最强的方面应该是在线上的能力吧。
我觉得他的特点就是打法很凶狠，然后对线比较厉害。
Black shield as well, and more actually now in the wrong spot. Big dash in, Altec finds the kill. The counterattack now for Vasilii, dives in, the big damage. One hit the flash, Vasilii gets the kill picked up.
我有比较强的个人能力，可以在线上就可以打爆对面。
I would say Vasilii's a flashy player, but he also has shown some glaring weaknesses, specifically when he played against C9 Tempest. He made a lot of positioning errors, kind of like the old double lift.
2-for-1 fight, Yazaki, Vasilii trading blows right there. Down goes the mid laner of C19. The stun comes up, Yazaki will trade one back though. 3-2 on the fight, Ackerman can't find much else.
我发挥很不稳定，就是有时候很厉害，有时候特别差。
Vasilii is probably a really good player due to his dance moves that you may have seen on Twitch.
He's a dancing god.
有之前在国内也有直播，但是看的人没有这么多，只有2000、3000左右。然后来到这边能有这么高人气，我想很感谢大家。
Thank you. Congrats.
LMQ gonna close out and take the Challenger Series Championship. What a finish!
来这边就是为了进 LCS， 可以跟更多的 LCS 的队伍切磋。
训练了这么久，已经有充分的实力来进入 LCS 这个赛场中。我觉得我们自己在 LCS 赛场上也能发挥得很好。
我从来没觉过北美弱，自从我来到这边和这些队练习，还有比赛，我觉得他们真的不弱。我很期待和 WF 还有 QT5 切磋在 LCS 赛场。
Well, you know, Vasilii, if you make it in the LCS, got a dance battle going on.
I was going to say, talking about dance moves, he's definitely got you beat already.
No, that's definitely false. I got the Macarena, like we're good to go. All right, so let's talk about LMQ then in the last series, or the last game rather, because they're 2 games away now from making it into the LCS, and they've honestly played well as a team. It's been the same kind of story overall. They seem to make very little mistakes. They'll capitalize some kind of mistake, and they'll just like win a team fight, win a team fight, win a team fight, close the game.
I think that the biggest difference between the 2 teams is the communication. LMQ seem to have very, very crisp communication. You can see it in their engages. You can see it in their target selection. Meanwhile, XDG, pretty disconnected, actually. I mean, people are doing different plans at the same time. There's as we said, you know, they're chasing into areas where they think that there's no Orianna ultimate. I don't know. Yeah. Also, ward coverage. I mean, man, they've had a pretty big discrepancy there as well. Xmithie does not look happy.
No. He's focusing in though. He's channeling his inner strength here. And honestly, like to me, like that's what XDG needs is Xmithie to get themselves back in the game. Because I don't think almost any teams win after an early deficit to LMQ. I think every team that's gotten behind early, like 99% of the time, the game gets closed out. And to get an early lead, I feel like that has to be Xmithie finding some ganks and opening that game up for his team. I feel like that's where it has to come from XDG.
Yeah, it's been a long time since he's been touted as a top jungler in North America. Even after returning to the jungle spot, everyone thought it would just snap right back to normal, but it hasn't really panned out that way. And he does need to be the one making early aggressive moves. Nobody else is really going to be the one initiating any sort of combat here. It's a lot up to the jungler for the early game to try and make something happen.
Yeah. And we got to see like what happens. Of course, last game it was 2-on-1 lanes or 4v0 kind of, so I know there wasn't a lot of moves to gank. But then you had the extended lanes. Like we talked about it actually in the bottom lane. You saw Zuna and Sheep having to hide from minion wave for a while because like, you know, NoName might be around. We have to respect the fact there might be a jungler here. I didn't see that kind of presence from Xmithie, where people were backing off of waves or having to leave their lane because there might be a Kha'Zix in the wings.
All right, so let's see if they change anything up in the picks bans here. Already one XiaoWeiXiao ban, so probably see another XiaoWeiXiao ban? No, they're not actually going to change it up first.
Wow, and interestingly, so both teams have banned banned Jax on the red team here. So it's a kind of a shared ban here, but it's one that's getting respected there. The Morgana actually banned by LMQ. They care about that champion a lot in terms of Sheep in this one, but I want to see what happens with Orianna here. LMQ can first pick their mid laner if they know it's a contested pick there. That's an important champion in this one. XDG.
I also want to say about Orianna ult's last game, it really was the warding that helped out so much. There was a pink ward in that bush. Like Kha'Zix and Twitch were both invisible when they were walking forward. So they thought they were safe, but the pink ward that they had already placed in the bush on their own side jungle, because they knew they had just lost a team fight and they were going to be on the defensive, turned it around for LMQ.
And it worked exceptionally well for them. So honestly, LMQ definitely bringing in more to their games. I feel like they're doing better things. They're making the right choices there. And this time, Champion Select taking their time with this one. No really new mid lane bans by XDG. They removed the Soraka, but they're leaving Orianna available. Once again, Nocturne, the priority jungle pick for LMQ. And it's just the Elise ban removing the champions from Xmithie.
And they didn't even focus on Pharaoh Flare last time. He had a very late conversion of that Wriggles Lantern into Pharaoh Flare because of they were making so many moves elsewhere on the map. You know, he does not tunnel on farming. We'll have to see if it's a slower game, then you always have that to rely upon though. If you are Nocturne, you can hard farm your jungle and still have a threatening presence because the other team never knows where you are and they have to respect the fact that you can join a fight from, you know, half a screen away.
So now we'll see what they can do with this one then. LMQ obviously putting their respect into their opponents, realizing they've won game one. XEG, what are their new adaptations? They've got to pull it back here in the next 4.
So Kha'Zix is up again. I'm not going to go with that this time though. Xmithie going to a more comfortable jungler and an even more early game oriented jungler here. His Lee Sin is one of the classic champions that he was known for when he was on the top of the North American jungle scene.
And the Thresh, I think, is really good for Sheep as well. He's one of those big Thresh mains. I feel like all the new supports that kind of joined the league mid-season are like Thresh mains. They're good at the other champions, but like that's their best. And so I think Sheep having more playmaking potential can help. I think if like Sheep Zuna can win the lane is a big deal. We know, we talk about Vasilii occasionally playing too aggressively, and he can get caught out by a hook and give some kills away. Some of the games that C9T won against LMQ were Vasilii getting caught and kind of throwing away kills for a while.
Yeah, I feel like if you are a pro support, Thresh has to be at least one of your top supports, if not your main support to go to. He's just so strong. But we do have a Lulu pick as well. Talking about support picks, it could be the mid lane as well. So I like that early flex here from LMQ. They can keep mancloud guessing. XDG will have the guaranteed counter pick though if they want it, so they can still wait and see what the entire lineup is. Or you can take a safe pick away.
Yeah. I think this is the right choice by XDG though, to grab the Orianna, make sure XiaoWeiXiao doesn't get it. Yes, you can use Wild Growth in similar ways to Shockwave, but it's just not the same. There's way less damage for one. And the Orianna through on mancloud I think is a great choice.
They also are able to get Lucian away here, so I think it's a pretty good start for XDG this time around, looking at pick bans, especially since they are on red side.
Well, it's LMQ grabbing Twitch for themselves though, and they might just switch the Lulu down into the bottom lane, hovering on Twisted Fate right now, giving LMQ even more playmaking, and it is going to be mid TF here, so support Lulu is the grab, and double globals plus Twitch stealth.
Now, I like Twitch plus Lulu because coming out of ambush with all that attack speed, he gets even more pick shots, and it adds a lot of extra damage there. Plus, they have the 2 globals that can support this bottom lane. So this time around, with LMQ running the Twitch, they've got so many weapons that they can use to feed that Twitch as early as possible. Literally every other champion on their team can join the party bot lane. They've got a teleport top, a jungle Nocturne, and a mid TF. Every single person on LMQ can do something to help Twitch get fed.
And what I really like about Twitch Lulu as well is that Help Pix is invisible when he's invisible. So you can Glitter Lance from nowhere. You can't dodge that spell. You get guaranteed ambushes.
Get another extra slow, so they can slow you forever if they catch anyone out of position.
Yeah. It gives you really interesting lane movements as well, because anytime Twitch turns invisible, you're like, he could be on top of us with ambush and picks. You got to be worried about that one. Top lane Mundo gets brought up here for XDG, so a different look there for Benny. Going to be the safe reserve top laner. He'll join team fights a bit later on.
So that signals out that they probably will not be making that early action from Xmithie focused to wherever Benny is. Mundo probably going to just be farming, trying to use his teleport to get to that mid game where he spikes up. Meanwhile, Xmithie is really going to have to get one of these other lanes going. Thresh is always a great support to gank for, even in this heal meta where they're running usually double heals down bottom.
Yeah.
You can still make a lot of things happen with Lucian and Thresh. There's this ridiculous playmaking opportunity there.
Yeah, you can safeguard to a lantern, kill a bunch of things as well. There's absolutely, I agree. There's a lot of room for moves here. So as the teams take to the Rift, remember to head over to Twitter and let us know who you think's going to win. Tweet at LOL Esports, use the hashtag LMQWin or XDGWin to cheer on your favorite team in this one. And I want to see this comp play out for LMQ because I like the triple global in a way. The fact they can just show up anywhere, whether it's a Twitch's lane or just mid lane or wherever. I want to know how that plays out because we talk about whenever you're running globals on a team, like a Xian, a Teleport, a Twisted Fate, you say, yeah, gank the global. Well, which one?
Yeah.
Because someone's going to show up anyway.
Go to the source of the global. Oh, God, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Gank all the lanes at the same time.
What really I'm looking forward to seeing, though, is the mid game from LMQ, because we said they had great communication last game. If they're running with 3 globals in a mid game where all of these turrets go down very quickly, then there's opportunity for them to really snowball in the mid game and get ahead there.
And you got to wonder how well can XDG time the cooldowns, because they're all going to be very apparent. When Nocturne has his darkness, you just say, okay, guys, 3 minutes from now, it's back up. Let everyone know this one. And we'll see how the coordination stacks up. XDG on the red side. How well can they make this one happen? Ruby Crystal start for Benny. He's going full tank status, but that's no surprise.
Moore still opting to go Ignite here, not on the support train, everyone doing double heal. He likes that kill potential, and they are going to keep it down there. Ooh, this is a much closer level 1, though. Both teams grouping up to fight over the top side of the jungle.
All right, they're going to get spotted out by the ball. LMQ knows
they see the ball, though. They saw it disappear, so both teams are aware.
It's going to done. Thresh is right behind them, though. And the gold card timed out, but looks like this is not going to be a push in for XDG.
They got their deep ward down. Need to back out now.
There's no way for XDG to sweep it. They just know the fact that a ward almost definitely went down. Okay, so a bit of information gained. Sheep's ward, unfortunately not very useful for his team anymore. That was watching the blue buff invade. It didn't happen.
And you can see LMQ rushing down to the other side of the map. They saw XDG above them, so they're not scared about face checking around their own red right now.
Ooh, are they going to late invade the blue buff, though?
There's a preemptive ward from XDG, so if they do, it will still be seen.
Minions have spawned.
And it also looks like XDG once again are opting into the lane swap. So these guys wanting the 2v1 at every single game.
So a lot of that does have to do with trying to secure the early buff for their jungler and make sure that they have a good early start. Basically, this is the lowest risk that you can go with as a team. Defensively warding one side, invading the other.
Yeah, a couple of brief faces come out. Looks like XDG feels pretty safe with this one. And they just watched LMQ walk through their pre-ward near the blue buff. So here we go, the buddy system. Blue buff going to be grabbed up on both sides for this one. And we're likely to see both teams go for the wolves and the white.
All right, I like leaving the little lizard down there behind at the blue buff, because as I said before, it's so long before the jungler will check his other buff that you can delay your opponent's blue buff by another 5-7 minutes even if XDG are slow to go over and check that one. So keeping that away from Orianna, from mancloud, that's a little investment that they're making towards later in the game. And they still, both of these teams actually this time around, going with the 1 buff, 2 small camps, everybody level 2, second wave shove. Shouldn't be as poor of a start as last time for XDG.
All right, here we go. LMQ, 4 men strong. The Nocturne Q comes out, Duskbringer. Give him a bit more damage. It's going to be pretty safe for these guys. Waveter comes out as well. This smite's happening. It's going to be a 3-minute turret. Roughly at the same time, actually. LMQ, I think they're, 1 second slower than before. XDG, though, actually getting their turret down. They're only 7 seconds behind in this trade, 8 seconds behind. You're going to keep them move forward.
Yeah, much better than last time. We have to see, though, with no jungle support, the mid laners are left to their own devices. And mancloud getting the early shove here on TF.
Yeah, and a pretty moderate to decent minion lead as well, dodging the cards away. And it's going to be a bit of a lane lead there, but tier 2 Turo under fire. LMQ getting the better of this one already, down below a quarter. This will be falling rather quickly. The recall is actually started by XDG to defend the inhibitor. But this will be an equal turret trade. So this game's starting out much better for XDG than it did last time.
Yeah, and the recall not stopped this time for Xmithie, so they get 2 people back and they will be able to defend it. LMQ just shoving that wave all the way into the turret to make sure that it does not get frozen too deep there. Right now they're making a move for Dragon. The early Dragons have cost all the teams that have gone for it. But this time around, it would only be 2 members of XDG that would collapse, the Lucian and Mundo. And they're not making the move early. Dragon aggro, they're trying to juggle it. They're not avoiding that much damage, though. They're still taking pretty much full damage from Dragon.
Okay, let's see if LMQ pays any cost for this, though. Instead of recalling, getting their items back, getting to lane in time, or getting any farm, they go for Dragon. So that's going to be 625 gold, I believe, is the base Dragon value. Something around that. 650? And so now I want to see what they can pay after this one. XiaoWeiXiao's already recalled, got back to lane.
So basically the biggest difference there is that Mundo was farming minions earlier than Shyvana was. So since the LMQ wave was pushing against them for this top lane, Shyvana, will be a level or so behind Mundo. But the rest of the team gains all that global gold from Dragon, plus the all-important timer for the right spawn of the second Dragon.
Yeah, very important for these guys, because that one, around, what, 1040 in the game is going to be rather important for that one. It'll be worth a bit more gold, more experience, all that kind of fun stuff. XiaoWeiXiao actually getting very much zoned out of this lane. He's got such a little ward coverage, he's got to be afraid of Lee Sin. It looks like he's just playing as far back as humanly possible.
And they've actually even opted for solo farm here for Vasilii on the Twitch, going with that large wave, and they switch Shyvana down to defend their turret in a 1 versus 2 situation.
And they actually had more running around, making sure that, the buffs had been cleared properly. I don't think he checked the wolf camp. That one's still actually partially cleared. But he went down to the blue buff and made sure it got the timer. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's going to be up at around 7 minutes.
And meanwhile, since Xmithie is defending top, the blue for XDG will not respawn. It's still just got one little lizard there.
Oh, NoName walks by a ward. Looks like Ackerman is able to hold this wave fairly well, just with the threat of a jungle gank. He's going to get level 4 in this one, equal up to Zuna.
Sheep and Zuna are doing a great job of not giving away the fact that they have a ward, so they got an extra 5 seconds or so of NoName's time. But here comes the first TF ulti, no turret to run
Oh,
to.
he locks a red card, but is it going to be enough? Sheep taking a bunch of damage.
Oh, he
Believe flash
misses!
the wall, he does, but it's not going to mean enough. Ackerman will claim the kill. No, it's going to be NoName. 600 gold goes to LMQ.
All right, so Xiao messing up a couple times there, costs their team 2 flashes by not pulling the yellow card and not hitting the wild cards. But they still get the kill. It is the first blood, and they don't lose much of that wave in mid.
That was all good and successful there. Yeah, the down turret. Dual lane waiting around. No way to get away from that one.
XDG need to time that TF ulti. The first one is extremely long cooldown, and you can track that very easily. As well, both of the flashes that just got burned. XDG, even though they just got hit pretty hard, can use that information to their advantage.
Slow comes out from Vasilii. Benny puts the Burning Agony down, but takes some decent damage. Loses a quarter of health, but he's going to stay there in the 1v2. And unfortunately for XDG, their gank's much harder to find. Xmithie just walked through a ward, and he's not going to get anything there.
And that was just one of the LMQ globals. They still have the teleport available, and Nocturne one more level to get for his ultimate gank. We have to see if they can continue to snowball here. Vasilii still working towards probably his Blade of the Ruined King rush.
I've seen a couple builds, because in Europe I've seen a lot of Bloodthirster Twitches, which I really like for the Expunge burst. But you go Ruined King and you're much more self-sufficient. You slow him down and you get the extra burst from the active. I personally like BT Twitch, but Ruined King a bit more common. Zuna Ackerman, bit of a trade. You can see the Shyvana now level 6, putting a lot of threat towards the AD carry. Zuna, this is half his health in that trade.
The wards are not very deep, though, for LMQ, so I expect Ackerman to either back off or start playing more cautiously. You don't go for those types of trades when you have 0 ward coverage, extending up that far.
Vasilii more not going to get pushed around, though. A ward does come through for Xmithie, but I don't know if the ward's going to mean too much, except for defensive rotations towards mid. Ackerman kills away a pink ward, makes sure his team retains control over the jungle here. Looks like LMQ going to hold the mid lane for now. They're going to leave Benny in the top side. Dragging a minute 40 away, so it's just LMQ showing up to hold waves for now.
The ward placed by Ackerman will see the rotation from Sheep over down bottom. And he does have his ulti fully charged up, so he could jump over the wall. Not too dangerous for him. They're just really letting Mundo shove the wave into top. And let's see, they'll probably be feeding that gold over to Vasilii once it gets close enough.
We're going to see XiaoWeiXiao hold the mid lane for now, so bit of a lull as we wait for Dragon to come back up.
They're actually opting to feed more money into their Shyvana here. One of the interesting things about this patch and the way that so many 4 vs 0 pushes play out is you get to choose who gets more money on your team, and LMQ want a tank. So they're funneling more of that money into Ackerman, not too concerned about the early Blade of the Ruined King from Twitch.
And there's going to be his build, though. Adds the longsword. Also rushes the Zerk Greaves, interestingly enough. I'm surprised to see that, but it will give Vasilii more movement. Maybe you can find some more ambushes that way.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who, towards that mid-game, they are going to have shoving versus Mundo, because a full tank Shyvana doesn't have the advantage over Mundo like the Blade of the Ruined King Shyvana does.
Well, see, attempted ambush. Vasilii gets some good damage down, pushes mancloud halfway out of the lane, and XiaoWeiXiao and the rest of the team show up there. So just the half HP. There's a TP in the flank, though. The fight's going to start for XDG. Benny pops ulti. Hook won't land, though. Now the push in towards more. He's level 4. The Fear Tether comes out. It's going to force XDG away. 2-man shockwave. But there comes Ackerman. The retreat comes through. Nice stun lands onto Xmithie. Will the fight continue? Looks like XDG being forced away rather quickly. Zuna, level 6, trying to put damage through. Gets stunned again. 200 health under the turret.
Nobody goes down, but everybody really low for XDG, so that fight will win them the mid turret.
Briefcase is not going to do enough damage. Dragon's seemingly immune for that one. And mid turret is hard fought and earned by LMQ.
Now, LMQ did a great job of kiting that back. It was XDG who got the first 5-man around mid, and they were trying to press the advantage, but a great glitter lance and a great gold card, LMQ are able to kite back, and even though Mandatory Cloud does land a shockwave onto Twitch, nobody's in position to follow it up.
So, nothing gained for XDG, but LMQ well in control. Dragon goes down as well by them around 11 minutes. And this team is certainly in control. The fan vote, actually even more now in LMQ's favor. They've realized just how strong this team is. Hype is pretty real for these guys.
I mean, last time around when LMQ were running Orianna into the Twitch and they were landing these shockwaves, there was so much backup damage to follow up the shockwave. But this XDG team does not really have it. The Lee Sin and the Mundo are not great at diving in. Lee Sin has to get a clear shot to get his Q in onto Twitch, and he hasn't been able to do that. It's very hard for them to get extra damage back there without just Mandatory Cloud, Shockwave, and Dissonance. So Vasilii, even though he does get hit, he didn't have to worry too much. He still has heal, and he had the rest of XDG on the run. So not really the same situation that Zuna was in when he had a Shyvana and a Nocturne diving right back into him when he got Shockwave.
Exactly. You press R and click on them, and you're going to be like, oh, they're on top of the AD carry. Mundo gets good lance, and he's just kind of sad for a while. So mid lane, a little bit under siege, but LMQ able to defend pretty properly. Xmithie trying to make plays. Has a Blizzard Elder, but not getting enough. NoName sweeps the ward away. He's safe for the team. Ackerman in the wings right here, looking for maybe to make a move in. Get the defensive ward. Xmithie spots blue. He's actually going to go for this one. He's got a little bit of backup.
They see Vasilii down bottom. That's why they're forcing this, because they know, once again, we have numbers advantage. We want to press it when we have 5 vs 4. There's no way Vasilii can get down here. And yet they get chased off their blue because they don't collapse all at the same time.
Gonna go for the battle anyway. Q comes out, smited, picked up by Xmithie. Sheep cannot land hooks this game, though.
All right, so they took the blue, but there is a large wave shoving down bottom now that Vasilii just cultivated over there, and he's joined the rest of the team now. So XDG are probably going to have to recall in the near future to deal with that bottom wave, which will give LMQ control of the map for the next 30 seconds, and they can get their ward coverage out there. They can start clearing away the pink wards and try and get some of this vision from XDG down.
Well, we're going to see if LMQ can keep that pressure going. Blue buff goes over to mancloud. So a buff lead for XDG for sure, but is it enough to win some fights and actually earn their own territory back? Because LMQ are the team that typically turns the screws quite well and keeps the map under control. How long do XDG wait? Ruin King under 1,000 gold to go till Vasilii has it. Bloodthirster still not picked up yet for Zuna. He's actually going to be taking minion waves back towards his inhibitor. So it looks like XDG happy to make sure farm goes to their AD carry. Whereas a bit more of an even split for LMQ.
Yeah, LMQ haven't been able to do much with this small opening that they had where they know that one person from XDG will be in the bottom lane farming. This game is so much of this sort of push and pull where each team gets to shove up when they have a minion wave. And once they crash into the turret, then it's the other team's turn for their rebuttal. And LMQ, they were not able to get much vision down or clear any out, actually. Nobody's still walking into that small bush and finding the pink.
So Ackerman set up the top lane, but no one's going to go for it. Benny just holds this one back, and the lane goes back to neutral here. Bottom lane pushed out as well. Zuna's going to recall. Should have, I'm guessing, BT and Zergs.
Yeah, probably. Get that early power spike. As well, the early power spike here from TF, the very popular build for North America, has been rushing Morel and Omicron. The early power spike as well as extra cooldown reduction for his ulti.
Yeah, it's a wonderful build. We haven't seen it since the first time, though. So right now, the Morel and Omicron not doing a lot for him, just adding some ability power. He is fighting 2 summoner heals and a Mundo, so it'll help for that at least.
Uh-oh.
Hook's gonna, oh no!
Miscommunication, I don't know. So that's not something that you actually talk about, but it's something that you have to play with the person for a longer time.
Yeah.
To sort of get on the same page there.
Xmithie did not look pleased for that one.
Yeah, that was just... I mean, I guess you can sort of expect that Sheep will be going for those hooks if you play with his Thresh more often.
Yeah. One thing I've learned is you just like yell when you're going for an ability, like I'm hooking, and he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, or you can do those split-second callouts.
Yeah. Ooh, Shotgun hits on the more down to 1/3 health, but no
that's
follow-up.
That's a big cooldown that they won't have for a team fight now, though, and it was on the support only.
And no catch comes through in that one, mancloud. With Athene's, not a crazy cooldown, but yeah, it's down.
Oh, yeah, on the bright side, he also had blue buff, so blue buff plus Athene's gonna help out there.
55 seconds to go.
Won't hurt him too bad. But yeah, it's the small things that they don't seem like they're quite on the same page for XDG. LMQ, though, we haven't seen any action from these double globals. We have very little action.
We had single global.
Towards the mid game here, where I thought they're going to be making more moves after they get all these turrets down. They haven't used them yet.
Yeah.
So now is their opportunity, though, because TF, he can get half a map up there. He's going to have to walk all the way back to mid. But a good shove with the wave onto top here for LMQ will award them one more turret.
Well, nicely done by those guys. 4 turrets to 2 right now. mancloud not going to get much done in mid. Minions actually successfully dodged those cards better than most players would. Like one got hit right there. That was an excellent play.
Yeah, I don't know. XiaoWeiXiao has not been looking like he's mastered TF so far this game.
Yeah, he's a card adept. Here we go. Kills those ones out. They walk mindlessly forward. Q comes out, does land Xmithie. Finds some damage, but no follow-up. Once again, it's individual plays from XDG. That's all they're finding here.
Here we go. The second dragon fight. All right. There's the ward fights that preempt the dragon fight.
Taking him down.
Everybody
dragon.
getting here. Now we will see the double globals. So whichever team starts to tank up the dragon, going to be at a disadvantage. LMQ, the combo that they're looking for is the Shyvana Nocturne initiate backed up by a Lulu ulti. Watch mancloud here. See where he can position this ball.
XDG starts. Vasilii does get spotted by the pink ward. Hook onto Ackerman. This fight might start it. He jumps in the back line. Great knockup, but the kick back. Sheep, they're going to get dived on. He goes down. Vasilii finds one. Benny goes down as well. Double kill. One kill goes back, though, for XDG. Zuna over the wall. 2 for 1. The flash stun comes through. Ackerman the chase as well. Slowed down. And Zuna also falls. 3-1 LMQ.
So even though you catch the tank there, that's the combo with Lulu. They get a great Lulu knockup. LMQ are able to take the dragon after that fight. And again, we're going to see a swing here for LMQ. They were already gaining extra map pressure on XDG with the extra turrets, but now they also have cleared out the dragon. So there's that amazing Lulu knockup. And then again, Xmithie kicks out Ackerman, so they don't have the double dive. And when NoName goes in deep, he actually has to walk back through the box, so they do get 1 kill, but the double flash and then Cutlass active from Ackerman makes sure that they were to chase him down.
And there was actually no shockwave that entire fight. So no, mancloud never found like a place to lock the team down in, which I'm surprised at, because the backline actually did come through.
I don't know. The kickback of Shyvana might have thrown them off, but there was so much opportunity for him to set up one in that fight.
So LMQ just finding better picks so far. Level 12 Twisted Fate. Ulti 3/4 of the way back in. Used it to help get vision during the last battle. We're going to see Benny again squaring off against Ackerman, but a level lead here for the LMQ top laner.
Oh, they've got an early Mikhails as well here from Moore. So whoever even gets Thresh took, they can actually get him back out. So I also like it because they're looking to buff up their front line as much as possible. Lulu already providing the extra health and shields, but now he can give life back as well. As we saw, NoName is very squishy, and he hasn't hit that point of the Blade of the Ruined King plus barrel, which is the really scary point for Nocturne. So he's not that threatening, and you can see when he has to run back, when he turns tail and tries to run out of the team fight, he gets taken down very quickly. So they need all of the defensive items that they can to sort of back up his early game offensive orientation with Nocturne.
Yeah. I do like the overall build though for LMQ, because they know they've got this like high damage Nocturne in there, right? Both games. Ackerman just goes tank. The only damage item he really gets is he stops at Cutlass, which is actually less than half the price of a Ruin King.
Yeah, he just wants that slow.
Just the slow, exactly.
So when he can get on Lucian, he can stick him there. As we saw, he used it effectively after the last flash. Also, the Zanya is completed for XiaoWeiXiao. So now he has the ability to bait in XDG as well. Maybe going with some Messiah plays in the near future.
Let's see. Xmithie right now just forced to kind of control his own jungle. More sweeps with the pink ward that was put down in the last dragon fight, and you can see there are very, very few red wards down. Vasilii looks like he will not be able to make a play in the mid lane just yet. Backstop plays a bit more safely here. And look at the pink ward on Baron, though. Now, they got a uncontested Baron not long ago, right? In game 1, he set up the ward control and got it completely without anyone looking at them sideways. This might be the play once again. Vasilii looks for a move.
So they do have all of their globals available. And when XDG have been getting behind, they haven't really been making any plays, going for anything here. Vasilii really dodging everything!
That was awesome.
All right, he's first pick in the dodgeball game.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I thought for sure he was going to get caught there. Very, very close. All right, so Vasilii, quick on the trigger. If you're playing Twitch, you have to be able to do stuff like that because he has no other option of getting out of this one. And LMQ avoid disaster right there. Yeah. That would have been huge for XDG. Those are the picks that they want. Yeah. They had the numbers advantage as well as being able to get the initiate onto an 80 carry. That would have been perfect for XDG.
Here comes the pick, though. Xmithie might get locked up. The Lantern not going to find anybody. Oh, the lockup from Lulu. Xmithie has nowhere to go. Finally gets out. Shockwave claims NoName, but there comes Shyvana. 1 for 1 so far. mancloud, the box wall slows down Shyvana. Betting the front lines, taking a whole bunch of pain, and he goes down. The Flay comes back in, but Vasilii is ready to deal a whole bunch of damage. Sheep forced away. And he's going to be safe.
So after LMQ avoid disaster with Vasilii dodging, then XDG just go back to farming their own jungle, and they're able to get that pick with a TF ulti plus Nocturne. That's the double globals, and the double globals will award them a global objective.
There we go. Tier 2 mid turret falls as well, and all the minions die right after. No counter pressure available for XDG.
All right, so let's watch the initiate here from TF. Because he has the Zanyas, he has the confidence to TP in right next to 2 melees. And NoName's able to complement his initiation, but he is going to pay for that one with his life, and Ackerman has to come in from the side to finish their kill. Benny tries to do the same thing, taking up the rest of LMQ, but not able to withstand the damage of that Twitch. With the attack speed and Blade of the Ruin King, he's able to melt through the health tank.
Yeah, one thing that happened there as well is that like Benny actually lost health by using his ultimate. He was actually below 40% by the time he even used it, so he's already under Morellonomicon, and just like didn't gain anything back before he died.
Yeah. Early Morellonomicon is already popular on TF now, and it just kind of works even better being able to apply that over and over, because he also has the on-hit magic damage, so even just auto attacks.
Yeah.
We'll be applying that to Mundo.
And look at Benny's build, because he's not even going for like the high damage Sunfire. He's like, Randuin's Visage, I need to not die is my #1 priority. And I know you talked about XDG not having follow-up damage, but this is even more in this line where Benny is an even less of a damage threat. And even with this tanky build, it's still been going down. XDG do find themselves mid-outer, but Ackerman will get top tier 2 to half.
Right, LMQ are pushing 2 lanes while XDG only pushing 1 lane, and they're going to lose an inhibitor turret for this mid lane push.
Wow, look at this. NoName going to be joined up with the rest of the team. Yeah, it's going to be the quick teleport for Ackerman. Inhib turret goes down. XDG kind of waiting around. Zuna's going to get this one, but there's no one to defend this.
And they're not even looking to stop anytime soon here. That will be inhibitor. Definitely not worth for XDG there.
There's all 5.
Oh,
Vasilii.
they can't finish it though. Vasilii gets out of his invisibility. See if they can get back in time to stop Zuna now. The rest of XDG, goal right now, stop all the recalls. They're buying Zuna as much time as they can. It's a dangerous game, but they're playing it pretty well so far.
TF ult, is he going to go for a mid? He's going to go for the team fight. They're going to go for the 5v4 in the base. Can they find much? The disengaged mancloud tries to stay alive. Down goes Benny. 1 for 0, 2 for 0. Can they make it 3? Well, at least they get the inhibitor already.
Yeah, that's why I was calling it a dangerous game. TF can turn it around instantly. Also, NoName able to fall back up, and they can just take your Nexus turrets, even though Zuna's getting the inhibitor.
2 versus 5. The shockwave lands on a 2, but is it going to be enough? mancloud finds the kill onto NoName. Ackerman kicked back, but turret #1 is gone. Zuna is going to recall, and LMQ actually, they get the 1 turret for it.
So taking just 1 Nexus turret, not that big of a deal. It's actually a pretty good trade to go for that inhibitor and exchange just 1 Nexus turret there for XDG. So they commit to it, and because of a great shockwave from mancloud, they're able to defend.
XDG went -1 kill and went +2 turrets on that entire trade. Actually,
also
XDG won that trade.
Dragon.
True. All right.
Continue
Four
the
equal
formula.
Here. Yeah.
+1 Baron? Question mark? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
XDG going for the early Baron. They hook over. Can they get the Lantern? Xmithie does not have a Feral Flare, though, so this isn't a super fast Baron. However, they should be able to get it because of LMQ's commitment to the Dragon. XDG trying to make the comeback move here.
LMQ are making their way over.
NoName's coming.
They got the wards down, but looks like XDG full can with this one. Baron goes down. They're going to be safe, but they're down 9K.
So this time around, XDG are the ones who trade, and they get the Baron for Dragon. LMQ actually got the benefit of that last time. Good move there from XDG. We said they needed to take more chances, and that was definitely one that paid off well for them.
That was very big. They've got to hold on to this, though. Both teams missing an inhibitor, so minions are going to do really crazy things to the map. And the question now is, which team can react better to the map situation? Minions flood in on either side. Baron buff is on all of XDG, though. And it doesn't really make up for the gold deficit. It's close. But the stats on Baron still actually put XDG arguably weaker in a fight.
The thing is, LMQ don't have a great sieging team right here. They have Twitch, who sitting in one spot, it would be very dangerous for him. LMQ are all about catching people outside, out on the map, in Summoner's Rift, far away from their base. But there's nothing to draw XDG away from their base. The Dragon was just taken, the Baron was just taken. So XDG can just turtle right now, and they can farm up. They can get to a little bit closer to that late game and try and make the discrepancy of cash a little less impactful.
Looks like no catch there for XDG. It's interesting to see the kind of situations that LMQ can put themselves in compared to the ones that XDG can, because of the fact that like Twitch is like way pushed up with no one around, but they've got TF. It's safe for LMQ to do this.
So they've got Zuna down bottom. This is actually a 4 versus 5, and LMQ can force around an outer turret. 4 vs 5, they're fine sieging up. TF going to shove middle and come in with his ulti if they get a pick.
Xmithie wants it though, kicks in, Vasilii gets knocked up by Lulu though, here comes the fight, Moore is low, mancloud goes down right away without getting his shockwave down. Here comes Zuna trying to turn it back around, but it's a 2 for 0, 3 for 0 so far, the dive still comes in, NoName forces the flash out of Zuna. It's a great team fight, LMQ.
Kick in Vasilii and there's no damage follow-up. There's a red card anyway. All right, he wants to get rid of the red.
Ooh.
Xmithie with the okey doke, but their base is being destroyed right now. So, and XiaoWeiXiao's not giving up on the chase either. He's still hunting them.
Well, it's still a 4 vs 1 though. It's going to work quite well. LMQ going to find an inhibitor number 2 on this one. And
XiaoWeiXiao's still on the hunt. He got him.
Xmithie. Oh! Bottom inhib has respawned, which means the mid inhibitor for LMQ also about to do the same. LMQ walk away from this one with...
Oh, the pink ward is actually going to take the hits for Xmithie.
Good guy, pink ward.
Good
guy, pink ward. Xmithie makes his way out. But LMQ now up 12,000 gold. And very much an advantageous trade for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, they go for the initiation. He got a great kick onto Vasilii inside, but there was 0 damage to follow it up, even at the turret. As we said, Zuna was down bottom, and he didn't get to join to the fight until someone had already died from XDG. So LMQ, just by being in position and being able to have so many globals where TF can just instantly join the fight, huge advantage, and they get to collapse onto the turret, which awards them another inhibitor. And another one is exposed, so they can easily just force it there.
And so we'll see when LMQ goes for that kind of death push. These guys are head by a lot. 30 minutes in. The first game, they got about 33. Actually, I'm wrong on that one. It was like 27 or something like that. But LMQ getting ready. Mid inhibitor's dead. Bottom inhibitor's open. Ackerman setting up the bottom lane for this one. Plenty tanky. Randuin's Banshees, and just the Cutlass to make sure.
So they're not even 5-on-5 forcing a fight at this inhibitor. They're still playing to this global team here, spreading out and making sure that XDG have to commit to one side, in which case they can all just jump on that side.
Well, attempted wave clear from Zuna, but it's not going to be enough. Tier 2 turret top lane goes down. There's only 2 turrets left on the map for XDG. Top inhibitor and 1 Nexus turret. mancloud right now on defense. Zuna backing him up. Benny soloing the bottom lane, but LMQ, they are ready to siege this one. NoName and Moore, and Vasilii take the top lane. XiaoWeiXiao holds mid, and Ackerman to the bottom.
All right, so this will probably be the last desperate fight here from XDG. They need to get a good shockwave, and they have to have someone in position to follow up. We've seen either shockwaves hitting Twitch or Xmithie getting a Q on Twitch. We haven't seen both of them at the same time, and that's really the formula for XDG success.
See if they can find it. Dragon 35, Benny loses a lot of health. XiaoWeiXiao taking a decent bit of damage. Ackerman too. Looks like the split post siege not really doing much. Maybe it's the bottom of the mancloud. Takes gigantic damage. There's the jump in from Nocturne, and down goes mancloud.
Well,
TF Volt comes in. Moore is low. Vasilii pushed away. This could be bad. Briefcase flashed away. Bottom inhibitor goes down, and here comes the rest of the chase. 4 versus 5. The dive in from Ackerman. Zuna under fire, takes a lantern to get out. Now Xmithie under a bit of pressure, and Zuna does go down. Now 5v3. Bennett getting chased. He's going to fall as well. Only 2 members alive for XDG, and this should be LMQ closing out the second game. 32 minutes in. Xmithie just, dancing back and forth, but that is going to be the game. 1 game to go, and LMQ is in the LCS.
Another dominating performance as well. Now the smiles are happening. They're getting really close. After the first game, they're a little trepid, but now we saw some emotion.
Yes, smiles coming out for these guys. And they know, and of course you look over at XDG and you realize this is not where they wanted to be. You gotta find something to make it work. Honestly, the playmaking, it's not synced up. Single man shockwaves, missed hooks, kicks backwards into nobody. XDG, they gotta find something to pull themselves back in this one. They can go for the 3-0. They can close it out the other way around, go for the 3-2 victory, and pull back the last games of the series.
And they kind of won with the opposite matchups this time around. They are the ones running Twitch. They ran into Orianna. It's not looking good for XDG.
It's not. It's not. I mean, Zuna walked into Shockwaves in game 1, and this one mancloud just couldn't find the opening. He actually missed it in half his fights. I just didn't see Shockwaves come out. Honestly, the performances are not there for XDG, though. Like, this is a team that just seems to continue to fall down, where they're just not playing as well as they were before.
Nobody can argue with you on that one,
No.
Freak. This is not the team that went to Worlds.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's not Sheep's fault. I think he's playing pretty well, but it's just everyone else seemed to be dropping the ball a little bit here. But for more on LMQ's win, let's send over to Jat, Scar, and Dominate at the analyst desk.
Thanks, Freak. This one took 32 minutes. The previous one took 28 minutes, but things aren't going well for them. Dominate, let's start with you. Why do you think this game went the way it did?
I just feel like XDG took the first loss really hard. Like, after they went to that first red buff fight, you could tell that every fight after that, even in game 2, they weren't confident going into the fights. They would start the fights with like weird TPs or like with like maybe a one-man Ori ult or a Lee Sin kick that's not really in the right position. It just feels like they aren't confident in fighting, and they're a fighting-based team. So I don't really know where they go from here.
Scar?
I think XCG's notoriously been the team that got leads in the early game and closed it out. And right now it looks like they're not getting any leads, and they don't have a better team fight. Like, they don't have the team synergy to be able to close out a game. It's looking really poor for them right now.
So what's happening with XGG then? How are they not able to come out on top in any of the early game engagements?
It just seems like I don't even feel like the very early team fights are just they're losing terribly because I feel like the teamwork is just not there. Like, they don't team fight correctly. And the way that, again, I agree with Dom, the way that they come into team fights is really strange. Like, there's a random TP in, or just like their positioning is really poor, or just how they expect a team fight. Like, no one's on the same page. They're not all peeling back like at the same time, or they're not all committing at the same time. So just a weird smodge podge of people, and then it just feels very lackluster to watch.
Right. Let's actually take it all the way back to picks and bans, though. After game 1, Dominate said he wanted 2 mid lane bans against XiaoWeiXiao. Xiao had 3. They went with 2. They went with the Nidalee ban and the Soraka ban.
Okay.
As far as picks and bans kind of went, with Nocturne being first pick for LMQ, how did that play out? Was it an advantage for XGG or LMQ?
I personally like the pick ban phase from LMQ significantly more. When you have Nocturne and then you're playing into the Lee Sin, it puts this timer on the game as jungler, where the Lee Sin knows that if he doesn't make plays within the first maybe 5-6 minutes, he's going to be behind. It's not going to be possible for him to engage on the Nocturne. Spell Shield is so good against Lee Sin because it blocks 2 abilities, generally speaking, if you can block the first one. So straight off pick bans, I think that XDG was behind, and then throughout the game, they just weren't able to make any of the plays they needed to pull out advantages.
Yeah, you guys actually said 6 minutes. If Xmithie doesn't make a good gank happen before 6 minutes, then they were kind of doomed. Did you see that play style for them, or were they just lackadaisical the whole time?
They just weren't there. Like, I feel like, yeah, I agree. If they don't get a kill within 6 minutes with Lee Sin, they auto lose the game, and they just did.
Yeah, I mean, we could kind of see that actually in a fairly early fight onto the game, about 17 minutes, 30 seconds, where this was kind of the last chance they had because they were already down about 3,000 gold. If we could get that up on the screen, I want you guys to walk us through why this fight in particular went wrong for XDG.
So I definitely think that the main problem here is that they start the dragon. They're not really committed to fighting or turning here. They're kind of just waiting for LMQ to position the perfect fight, which is something that they obviously don't want to take. And as you see, like, it opens up, they aren't even able to get a shockwave throughout the whole fight because there just isn't any opening. There isn't any time where he feels comfortable putting the ball in between people and he feels like the shockwave is going to make an impact in the fight. So really, I think that fight came down to them starting dragon when they didn't have the best advantage and just misplaying the fight from there.
So was that fight more about mancloud dropping the ball, or was it LMQ just finding a situation which XGG couldn't fight back against?
I think their team position was just poor. Like, I agree with Dom that they shouldn't have started the dragon. And just like the fan out from LMQ was really good. Like, they sent the Shiv in early, got a 3-man knockup with Lulu, and they were able to space out the Ori with Nocturne pressure for her to be unable to find an ulti. And it was on mancloud to be able to find an opening, but it's also on his team to be able to peel backwards correctly and not like forced in that kind of situation. And they kind of did. They forced into a Twitch, which is pretty much guaranteed that you're just gonna lose a team fight.
Yeah, and there's something I wanted to point out there is even though it looks like they started the Dragon and they were making a play with a lot of initiative, it was actually a reactionary-based play. They saw TF hovering around mid, and they know that if they don't commit to the Dragon, they're just going to lose their mid turret. So they're kind of in this situation where they're like, oh, we don't really know what to do. There doesn't seem to be a good option. Just start Dragon, and maybe we get into a profitable fight.
And is there any way, really, you see them coming back, maybe making some sneak plays, doing a different team composition? What are XDG's options coming into Game 3 to avoid a sweep?
It's really hard. Like I just think they need to find early kills. Like XDG has always been a team that snowballs off early kills, and that's what you really want to. You really want to put their players in positions where they're ahead. Like I feel like mancloud is like maybe like just okay if he's even, but if you give him like 1 kill or 2 kills, he goes off. And so it's up to Xmithie to set the pace of these games, and it sucks because Xmithie hasn't been able to find too much in the first 2 games.
He even had that one missed flash when everyone's playing a little bit off, and in this game in particular, actually, they did sneak the Baron, and we were kind of thinking maybe they could pull off a miracle here, but then their teamfight execution still wasn't there. Let's actually pull that one up on the screen as well. After they got the Baron around this time, Dominate, you can start here. What went wrong for XDG?
Here's another fight where they do get a kick, but they're just so far behind here that it's just tough for them to fight. And I don't know exactly what happens to mancloud, but he's not able to get a shockwave. He either got CC'd or something prevented him from being able to get a shockwave. And just not getting an Ori shockwave when you're this far behind, there's pretty much no way you can win a fight without that.
Yep. That should have been something where, like that was just poor communication. Like I look at that, I'm like, well, where's the teamwork in that? As soon as the Lucian tells the team that he's looking for a kick, they should immediately be like, they should immediately know that he's looking for the kick. The kick was actually really good. If they had immediately give Vasilii there that stops the push and they have Baron, they're able to turn it out for another 5 minutes. But unfortunately, like Vasilii gets kicked into melee range of Ori and just like kills Ori in 3 hits. And it's like, well, they definitely messed up there.
Yeah, not to get too far ahead of ourselves though, but with a 2-0 down in a best of 5, there's a pretty good chance that LMQ is going to be making it into the LCS. With all the hype behind them in the Challenger Series, not necessarily playing against the LCS caliber teams, where do you really see them stacking up if they make it in?
I think right now they're in the middle of the road. Like I don't really see them taking games off the top 3 right now, like consistent games. I definitely don't see them taking games off C9, like more than like 1 in like a best of 3. I think they're in the middle of the road, and once they get to LCS, it's up to them where they go.
Dominate?
Yeah, for me too, I'd say it's middle of the pack. Like if I had to rank them right now, I'd say 4th, 5th. They'd probably be competing with us, not able to necessarily consistently beat the top 3 teams, but just like a level above the bottom tier teams of the league. So I think they'd probably just be like 4th, 5th starting out, and from there they could either go up or down.
Yeah. So a 4th, 5th type LCS team who's playing against XDG right now, who is sitting in the 8th seed. Remember, XDG did beat every single team in the LCS once. Do they have a win for them in this series, do you think?
I think it's just down to Xmithie. Like everything falls on the back of Xmithie. He needs to get the ball rolling, and it's just going to be really, really hard because overall their teamwork just has not been there this series.
All right, well, with that win, LMQ are just 1 win away from joining the North American LCS, and after the break, we'll see if they can get it done in Game 3 against XDG. We'll be right back.
Starts. Vasilii does get spotted by the pink ward. Hook onto Ackerman. This fight might start it. He jumps in the back line. Great knockup for the kick back. Sheeptho going to get dived on. He goes down. Vasilii finds 1. Benny goes down as well. Double kill. 1 kill goes back though for XDG. Zuna over the wall. 2 for 1. The flash stun comes through. Ackerman the chase as well. Slowed down. And Zuna also falls. 3-1 LMQ.
And come in with his ulti if they get a pick.
Xmithie wants it though. Kicks in. Vasilii gets knocked up by Lulu though. Here comes the fight. More is low. mancloud goes down right away without getting his shockwave down. Here comes Zuna trying to turn it back around, but it's a 2 for 0. 3 for 0 so far. The dive still comes in. NoName